Welcome to Making Languages Our Business, where we explore topics related to language use in today's world and showcase subject matter experts who offer helpful insights on the impact of language proficiency in the workplace, marketplace, and community. This episode is brought to you by Language Testing International. Good afternoon. I'm Lisa March with Language Testing International. I'm the marketing director here, and welcome Johanna López. Thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Johanna, today we're going to talk about language proficiency and cultural competence in education and student advocacy. This is really a topic that's dear to my heart and also to the folks here that I work with at LTI. Johanna, you come with just an amazing record. We had a podcast recently with Marco from Alianzas, and when I asked him to tell me his favorite story from Alianzas, he mentioned your name. So I am going to give a recap of your story and your background, and am very excited to hear about all of the great work that you're doing for the Orange County Public Schools. So Johanna López is member of the Orange County Public School Board in Florida, and she is the first Latina to attain such a prestigious role by popular vote in 2018. And really, it's a 170-year history, and you are the first Latina to be appointed. And what's so interesting is that 1 in 3 people in Orange County speak Spanish. So really, as the first Latina member in the history of the OCPS board, there's a budget of over $4 billion. And Johanna, you are fully aware of the responsibility that you've got in the community. You've served for over 2 decades, and you are the eyes, ears, and voice of students, parents, educators, and especially pointing out the disparities in your community and advocating, and you take your work so seriously. You're known for empowering the minority student. You've got a focus on ESL. You support undocumented students, and you provide mental health care and free legal services, responding to their needs during the pandemic on medical advice, advocating for the provision of treatment that is best for teachers and non-instructional staff. Johanna, what don't you do?
Wow, that's when you were reading that, made me think about examples and stories behind all of them. So I started in 1998 as a teacher at Colonial High School. But the students who run my campaign were former students as well. So I won that seat because of the students. The majority of my students that ran my campaign were English language learners as well. So it was a project because with my accent, I have to set an example to them so they feel enough comfortable to knock on those doors and try their best to speak English to the community that speak English, because we also have a big community that speaks Spanish as well, but the majority were English speakers. So, it was a challenge for me and for them, but we achieved our goal. We even have stories of senior citizen crying on the door when they see, they're trying to speak English and saying, you have to vote for my teacher. My teacher is going to advocate for me and for your grandchildren, for the community. So it was very, very emotional to everybody. This is about working hard not only for English language learners, but also for all the people who believe in inclusion and diversity. So for the first time, that seat won by 40,000 votes. That seat usually won by 9,000, 12,000. But with the mobilization of English language learners, the majority of the students who ran the campaign were English language learners. We also have undocumented on that campaign students risking their lives to place signs of Johanna López for school board, and even the sign were designed by students. Everything it was based on my students intelligences, skills and ideas. So it was pretty difficult also for me, because at the beginning I did not dare to speak at front of people because of the way, remember, I was a Spanish teacher for almost 20 years, so I was correcting Spanish. This is not about English, it was about advanced placement Spanish. So they have to speak Spanish, write in Spanish. So it was very difficult because, they have to help me how to become more proficiency in the English language, and how to go to debates and speak against people that then the main language is English, and I'm still being a Spanish speaker. It was very challenging. So now I feel more comfortable. But I also, during my campaign, I also tell my students, you know what, my accent is an asset. And that is the way you have to say it. When you speak and you have an accent, everybody's going to know that you speak another language. So you're bilingual. So you have to feel proud about your roots, and you have to feel proud about your accent, because it's not the accent what is important. It's not being perfectionist. It's about have the commitment, and it's about passion. It's about the community. It's about the engagement. It's about being transparent. People know when you are committed and transparent with them. They know when you are honest, when you try your best. They value that, and they forget about the accent. Don't get me wrong. And if they say something, it's something that is going to help us to to be better and to empower us to achieve the goal that we are looking for.
Really, you won by a landslide. So to think, 40,000 votes over the historical 9, clearly what the folks in the community see when they see you is what's possible, right? And yeah, Mark said that really you view your language as an asset, and that's what we want to see happen. We want to see that we can empower students and give them this credential, this confidence, whether it's English, Spanish, and in the K-12 market, we've got 600,000 students that we award what we call the seal of biliteracy. And that is whether they've learned it in the classroom or they're heritage speakers and they have learned it at home, and they want to just show the world that they've now got a superpower. And it's, yeah, really what you've accomplished is tremendous and a lot to be proud of. You're making a huge difference in your community, and no wonder the groundswell of support. So tell me a little bit about your ESL students. What kinds of opportunity do you talk to them about in terms of, I'm sure it's scary, they're coming to a place where lots of people speak English, they're just learning, they have to be really introduced into the community and accepted. What are the kinds of things that you're doing in your community to make sure they feel supported and they've got the confidence to go out and take the world on the way you have?
Yes. So I started in the school because when I saw that we have a PTA, parent teacher association, that don't have any Hispanic person and they don't speak Spanish, I started a group called Familias Presentes, Estudiantes Excelentes. If the family is present, the students are going to be successful. It's kind of the definition of those words. And I saw that not having any participation of the Spanish speaking parents and increasing the participation by 500. At the beginning was 300, then 500. Then when Maria happened, it was almost 900 of parents and students together in the cafeteria. So I think that was the time that we started empowering the students with their native language, because once they feel more secure and more empowered with their native language, because they feel more comfortable, Then I'm gonna say, okay, now you have to learn how important is to be engaged in the community and forget about the accent, forget about grammatical mistakes. You have to think, try to think in English if you could. If not, try to translate, but it's gonna be harder because you're gonna need more time to express yourself. So I started practicing in the classroom. I put students in pairs, somebody who is more fluently in English with somebody that is not fluently. So they start learning from each other with basic conversations. So when the campaign started, because I won Teacher of the Year. And after I won, I was the first Latina as well in Orange County Public School to become Teacher of the Year. I worked for Orange County Public School at the district level 1 year, but I came back. So when I came back and I started running my campaign, obviously after school, I have all those students that already work with me in the classroom, and they were looking to me and for me because remember now is everywhere is talking about Johanna López is running for school board. So I have meetings in my house and meetings outside in different houses in parks, and I try to teach them when you knock on that door, what are you gonna say? When you provide, it was before the pandemic, obviously, so we have flyers, and we have flyers one side in English and the other side in Spanish, just in case the person who opened the door, so he can explain and they can guide the conversation by looking at the pictures and at the messages that they have on the flyer. The situation was that if they're gonna speak to a Spanish speaking, they have to explain what school board member is, what is school board in general, because in our Latino community we don't have a school board member that you have to vote. We don't have that in Puerto Rico, for example. So they have to explain to them in Spanish what is a school board, what is they gonna do, what is Miss Lopez is gonna do if she wins. And on the other side, it was the platform. We believe that the majority of our Anglo community, the white and black community, they know what is a school board member. So they're more engaged. They know the language, they know the system. So they talk about the platform, but they have the words over there. We practice in my house or in another house or in a park, and we practice. So they know. They just follow, what they said in the flyer. At the end, they already know by memory because we knock on more than 35,000 doors. So believe me, at the beginning, they might have, maybe doubting how to pronounce the words, or maybe have to look at the flyer. But at the end, they know that by memory. So even when I try, if we have a debate and they practice with me, and they even know what I'm gonna say in the message because we say it so many times. And at the end of every debate, we have meetings and they identify, okay, Lopez, you say this, you use the word e 40 times. So Lopez, you use so and so. Lopez, this is not a plural. This is it. So we were growing together through the campaign in improving the English language. And the English speakers that were in my campaign, they want to speak Spanish. Oh, okay, this is in Spanish. So now we have, an Anglo person or English speaker wanted to know more Spanish and motivated to take Spanish in the school. But we also have the English language learner that, our ESOL students, to know and improve the English language. A story that I would love to share, when the community were fighting to rename a school Roberto Clemente. And I remember having one of my former students who helped me knocking on doors be one of the speakers at front of the school board, make me cry. Just, oh my God, and it sounds so perfect. She did not read anything. She was from Dominican Republic here for maybe 1 year and a half or something like that. So, I'm living here for almost 20 years and I have a huge accent, but that girl, speaking at front of the school board, not reading at all. speaking from the heart, I say, wow, we are achieving what we wanted to achieve. Is having the Hispanic community here at front of the school board members speaking on behalf of a change, renaming the school of Stonewall Jackson to Roberto Clemente, and we did it. So we also renamed the school Roberto Clemente. That is a huge also achievement in Orange County Public School, the first school with a Hispanic name and it's a Puerto Rican name.
But I mean, the moral of the story is just what a difference it makes when everybody understands. I mean, for years and years, they were not included in the decision-making process. They didn't have a voice. Nobody was communicating the importance of having somebody advocate for them that feels them, that looks like them, that understands their language, that's lived in their shoes. And that is a tremendous difference in how to create a groundswell of people in the community to make a difference. So many communities, these people don't have a voice because they don't know where to speak. And you created this path for them to have a voice, to have an opinion, to band together for change and make history with having you elected as the first Latina board member in 170 years, when the community is made up of people and they are the people, but they don't have a voice. So really, that's has to be something that you just look back on and think, wow, I'm a woman on a mission.
Yes, this is because of them, and because and always, I never forget the conversation between me and my campaign manager, because my campaign manager came from Venezuela, and he used to be an ISO student, and he told me, Lopez, do you think that I can be a valedictorian? That was in 10th grade. And I say, of course, you can be a valedictorian. He said, but with this accent, I said, well, that doesn't matter, Samuel. Huge accent, that's not about being smart. That's not being intelligent or responsible. If you're responsible, you can be a valedictorian. So he became a valedictorian, and he was accepted at Princeton University. And when I became teacher of the year, he called me and he told me, now you have to run for school board. And I said, with this accent? And he said, remember when you told me that because of that doesn't matter about the accent, that I can be a valedictorian. So tonight, I want to tell you that even with your accent, you can be a school board member. So, he ran my campaign from there. We assigned different campaign managers, but the moral is that this is not because of me. And when I sit down at the school board meetings, it's not me that is sitting down at that seat. It's my community. It's those English language learners that help me to become a school board. They believe in me, So every single time I have to say something, I think about them. I say, I have to say it this way because they have to understand. And I always, people congratulate me. Wow, if it is not for you, no, nobody's gonna speak about English language learners. But maybe the rest, they cannot speak about something that they don't know. So everybody have a different expertise, and it's my responsibility to explain what are the struggles of our English language learners, so my school board members, fellows understand, and obviously they're gonna support the programs and initiatives that they deserve to be successful.
And so, what advice would you have? I mean, there's so many communities that look and feel like yours, and they haven't necessarily had either the personality or the commitment or the support. And what are the kinds of things that you think you could help impart to other school districts and school boards that would help them be in a better place to serve the ESL community, the new people who may be part of the community because of natural disasters like Maria or even COVID, right? Lots of family members have had to maybe move closer together, lost jobs, health. We've lost so many family members during this pandemic. What are the kinds of things that you think school boards need to do to raise awareness around the needs of
Yes. Number
the people?
one, you have to go to the community. You cannot depend on other people's opinion, or because you're just only reading articles or see posts in the computer. You have to go to the community, and you have to speak with the people that are facing the situations. Not listen to the situation on second hand opinions. I think that you have to go to the community, and if you don't speak Spanish, you have to find somebody who translate to you what that people is trying to say in their native language. Sometimes we try to make, for example, try to make somebody from Puerto Rico that don't know enough English explain the situation that they are facing. Sometimes they cannot describe enough in the second language the way they feel. So it's our responsibility as a school board members to bring somebody for translation or interpretation. And also at the school board, we have to speak with the superintendent to request translation on every single language that we have a lot of representation in our district. That's another thing that I advocated during the pandemic. We have a lot of information, and sometimes did not go firsthand to our Hispanic community or the Portuguese speaking community, Vietnamese speaking community. So I requested publicly that we have those translations because it is important. This is about life. So they take care in different ways. They translate the manual, they post videos in different languages. So we have a lot of help in translations. And even when I have educational town halls, because it was a lot of information. We're changing everything in the system. So I provided educational forum, one not with translations. I provided one in completely in English, 1 hour and a half, and then one completely in Spanish, because I did not want to defeat the purpose. Because when you have the translation, our community is not gonna feel the same way. Nobody's gonna feel comfortable enough to participate in that town hall. So I provided in both languages, one after the other one, and I provided Spanish speakers as well. So every single time I try to provide, and even before the pandemic, I do the same thing. I provided educational forum in English and Spanish, different days. So everybody feel comfortable. I have a lot of janitors that are Hispanics. So I think that they deserve to have the same information in their native language, and also for our bus drivers. So we have to be, as a school board member, we have to be able to identify the population and the ethnicities that we have in different areas, so we can provide information and be fair and equal to everybody, because this is our country. We want to be better. We want to provide good services for our students. If I serve my teachers, my bus drivers, my janitors, I know for sure the students are going to feel more comfortable. They're going to have better services because they have personnel that are being attended and valued. And I try my best to provide everything in different languages, at least in Spanish and English, because it's the most speaking language that we have first Spanish, then Creole, then Portuguese and Vietnamese and Arabic.
Amazing. Here at Language Testing International, we focus on 120 languages. And I say focus because we know that we're here in the US a melting pot. We have many, many, many. We say Spanish, but really in our districts, I live here in Connecticut. New Haven has 60 different languages that are spoken at their school. And while the pandemic was a really challenging time for everyone, I think it really opened the eyes and ears of folks who are in the education system to understand that we have to communicate to everyone. We have to meet everyone where they are. And based on what you've done, my goodness, I'd love to have a webinar with you so that you could provide some professional development to teachers and educators across the country and impart to them how so critical, it's not just about the parents, it's about everybody who touches a student's life, right? I mean, you
Agree.
said the bus driver, the janitor, the medical staff, the part-timers, and all of those people come from all walks of life and all different languages. And we've got the people that are multilingual, right? We test many, many, many people, and we also give you the opportunity to see the level of language that they speak so that you could put them in the right roles. We work often with Urbander, and Sami, and she helps us do lots of translations, and she helps us ensure that the information has a cultural sensitivity, right? I mean, it's language is one thing, but it's also important that you understand how to communicate in a culturally appropriate way. And so it's a lot of understanding, but also meeting people where they are. I again am so impressed with all the great work that you've done. Congratulations seems not the right word because you do it day in and day out. It wasn't just an event, right? You live
Yes.
this. So
I
yeah,
yes.
when they said you were a rock star, now I know why. And really so appreciate all that you're doing, and that you're really raising awareness around the superpower and leveraging language and leveraging your heritage to make a difference. You definitely are the model for that. So thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
I hope we have a chance to chat again sometime
Yeah,
soon.
of course.
Joanna,
Thank
have
you.
a great afternoon.
Same to you. Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Making Languages Our Business. If you have any questions or need additional information regarding how to assess your personal level of language proficiency or the language skills of your employees, visit our website at languagetesting.com. Thanks for joining us.